Hello, Craftin' buddies. It's Lori, late night Lori, from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I'm coming to you almost not late from Wisconsin. We're going to pretend it's Wednesday, January 28th, 11:59 p.m. You can add a few minutes. Sorry I'm late. I almost forgot to restart my phone because sometimes we have volume problems when I don't restart my phone. So let me get my devices set up here. We'll make sure we have sound. Yes, we do have sound. Let me get my other one set up. Okay, we're ready. Awesome, we're ready. So, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin, where it is bitterly cold. Suzanne, right? I don't have my notes. I think it's Suzanne from Arkansas. One of these nights I won't question myself. So welcome. Welcome. How are you? How is the weather by you? It is super cold here. So welcome. Couple of quick announcements and we'll get down to business. We'll chit chat as we go. And hopefully as other people join in with us. I see some folks are starting to come on. I was only a couple minutes late tonight. I try to make it before midnight, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't happen. So, all things stamp, excuse me, all things, hello, Susan. Still hot over in Melbourne, I gather. I'm guessing. So, all things Stampin' Up! You can find at my website, latenightlory.stampinup.net. All the things going on you can find there. I'm going to whiz through some things really quick. If you need more detail, either send me a message or check out my webpage. Bonus Days ends on Monday. I think February 2nd is Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Monday. So, how this works, excuse me, it happens when I go live here. I don't know what the dilly is. Sometimes I remember to do a cough drop before I start. I don't cough all day until I start here, so I apologize. All right, bonus days in the United States. When you make a $50 purchase, you will earn a $5 coupon. This is my Earn 'em and Burn 'em club. All right, earn them before February 2nd or buy on or before February 2nd. Burn them between February 28th and March. Oh, no. Between February 3rd and February 28th. I'm just like a month ahead of myself. If you don't use them in February, you will lose them. So once you place your order, watch for your email with your coupon code. Don't lose it. You can cut and paste that when you place your order. I think that's it for that. That's like getting double rewards, right? So make sure you're opted in for Stampin' Rewards, because then you get 10% back from your order. So that's $5 already on a $50 order. And then you get another $5 coupon. So, oh, that's a little bit of relief for you, Susan. Awesome. So if you're going to get a bonus day coupon, if there's a couple of other things you want and you're bumping your order up to $75, for $5 more, you can get this product of the month. December's product of the month was Designer Series paper. I don't know if it's still available or not, but once it's gone, it's gone. This stamp set is available in January or until it's gone. You can add this for $5 if in the United States it's $75 product purchase, so before tax and shipping. All right, if you like that, add it to your cart. Stampin' Up! Has a new tool that's coming out. It's going to be included as an exclusive item in the joint offer. So if you are not already a demonstrator or a kitnapper, community coach, a business builder, a hobbyist, whatever you want to call yourself, this might be a good time to join, especially if you're going to be ordering around $100 worth, because for $99, you get to pick out $125 worth of product. You get this automatically. I should be able to demonstrate this sometime in the near future. I thought mine was going to come on Monday. I actually have a shipment coming tomorrow because I had the wrong Monday and it was supposed to be next Monday. So we'll see if it comes tomorrow or not. Otherwise, I don't remember what I'm getting, but something's coming tomorrow. You get free shipping. So that's a big bonus too. So I don't think you get bonus day things when you join because some of those other things are separate. But if you place your first order right after you join, you'll get all of that. So if you have questions about joining, if you are not part of a team, if you are not affiliated with a demonstrator, I would love to have you join our Little Bit of Crafting group. And my last announcement, Paper Pumpkin, if you're not a subscriber and you subscribe through me by February 10th, I will put your name in a drawing for this set of exclusive Paper Pumpkin add-on dies. Here's how they cut out. They're really fun. The beautiful is all one piece. You don't have to worry about losing that little dot on the eye. Paper Pumpkin's a fun, all-inclusive kit every month. So I think we're ready to go. I was hoping Yuda would pop on with us because I think it was Yuda last night that when we did this card, she admitted, somebody did, I think it was Yuda, I don't remember for sure, but somebody admitted, whoops, we're going to put that right back up there, that they are not a fan of pink. And of course, this card was mostly pink, but she did admit that she liked this. So I'm going to try to zoom in just a little bit here. She acknowledged that this was actually kind of a cute card. And I got the idea from one of the retreats I went to recently. I don't know if it was a demonstrator retreat or if it was a card retreat. I don't know. But anyway, Yuda asked for this in greens because she really likes greens. And I'm like, oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. So let's see how it looks. It's going to be very similar to this. All right. And we're going to do some ink blending. We're going to add some Wink of Stella. We're actually going to do some more fussy cussing. Thank you, J. Ream. I'm looking for a note. Have you been here recently? Duh. I hate it when I lose my notes because when I have people that I don't recognize, what's your first name? I apologize if you've been here before and I have forgotten, but thank you. I'm glad you like this card. And thanks for piping in. So if you're new to the channel, let us know where you're joining from. This is you've been here before. Because the ream looks familiar, but I can't remember. Jeanette. All right. I'm writing it down again because I might have written it down before. And then who knows? I probably lost the note. Jeanette. I lost the note. All right. And where are you joining us from, Jeanette? I'll try to remember next time. I try to be better with names. All right. Well, last week, you're giving me a little bit of grace. Thank you for that. So, all right. As you join in, let me know where you're joining from. My granddaughter was here tonight. Bless her heart. She is such a doll. She's 8. She came in the craft room. She's like, oh yeah, can we do a grandma video? Arkansas. That's right. Because I said, we have another gal from Arkansas who actually happens to be here. Love and Pieces is from Arkansas. All right. Arkansas. I'm writing it down. What did I do with my pen though? I tell ya. Some days it's just like that, you know? Do you ever have those days? Crazy. All right. Back to business. Thank you. I was having a day one. Oh, a video during the day. Oh yeah, I don't do that real often. Maybe I wasn't fully awake. But anyway, our granddaughter was here tonight. We're going to be gone for a little bit. Normally she would come this weekend and do overnight with us. So we can't have her overnight because we're going to be gone. And she comes in, she's like, Grandma, can we do a video? She loves doing the videos. And I said, well, last time you did a video with me, you went a little way and then you said, I'm out. I said, are you going to be in? She's like, no, I'm out. Arkansas. That's all I know, Jeanette. Suzanne, where are you from? No, I don't have a checklist on everybody. It's just if I write it down and I visualize the call name that's on here. And when you come back often enough and I see the names and it's like, oh yeah, I kind of remember. But like when I was in school, I could take copious notes and then I would never look at them again because writing it down usually imprinted it in my brain and I could remember things. And I worked in the criminal court system for a long time and I knew all the statutes and all the subsections and all the things. And I could see a defendant and I could tell you he owed us money and needed to go to jail. And as I've gotten older, my memory is not as good as it used to be. I think there's just too much stuff. And you know how a sponge is with water, when it's too full, it starts dripping. I think that's my brain right now. So I just try to make notes and hope that I can remember because I think it's important that you realize that I appreciate that you're here with me. So, oh, try not to quiz me. But we can laugh because it's all good. So anyway, I think Yuta wanted me to try this in green. So we're going to try it in green. So I started with this little piece to replace our little pink hash mark thing. We're going to probably use some of these little foliage pieces because I have so many cut out. And why cut out more when we have some we could use because they're all the right colors. We've got some of these little circles. We're going to make a little scallop on here. Okay, I actually cut more of them out today. So we won't have to worry about skipping any spots. We can just put them all on. And what we did yesterday was I lined these up using my grid paper here so that they're kind of straight. That one's got a flat spot on it, so we'll just do this. And this is about 5 dots long. And I'm, you've got a drippy drain too. Drippy drain, a drippy brain. Yeah. Yeah, and I have to get up early again because our granddaughter gets to go to school and it's like a half an hour drive to get her to school since she's staying overnight on a school day. Oh, well. Where was I? And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking fast, but I'll try to calm down. All right, so I think we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. We had to split a couple of them apart just to make them go to the edges. So we're gonna see how it goes. And all I did was put some Stampin' Seal behind here. And I think we'll probably do it about the same width. So that's like 5. And we could spread it out a little bit because we'll put some flowers on there. I just don't know where they're going to end up. The flowers I'm using tonight are going to be smaller. I was looking for an open design because I want to use some green. And I'm going to show you using green in what may be an unconventional way. All right. So let's just do this part first and we'll get it done. So if this is, I should probably measure. And we'll go this way. So it's 3 3/4, just barely over. All right. There's also, you know, my brain is like a steel trap that's rusted shut. You know, we've all heard that little joke before too, right? I have a good memory. It's just short. There's all kinds of them out there, right? But I kind of like that drippy sponge. There's just so much in there. Or when you've got these young kids that think they know it all. Yeah, I've forgotten more than you ever knew. Life experience, that's what we call it, right? So actually, I think I'm going to use this bottom line as my lineup on here because I can actually see that one a little bit better without getting my head over the top. And we're just gonna press that down. And if there's a little overhang here, we can just trim it off, okay? We'll wait until we put these others on here. So let's just put another 5 of these out here. Now there is a new die that's coming out. I think it's available to demonstrators as part of the pre-order. And it's like 4 rows of circles that have, like the centers are cut out. When you do the die, it's one piece. So you can just slice through the rows and have like a row of 5 dots. And I think this was at the it might have been at the demonstrator retreat that I went to. They had done something like this with that set. So these were all connected. And I thought, well, I can do that with just punches, right? So I did. And I think the punch that I used was this is a 3/4 inch punch. Well, you can probably see that by the grid marks, unless you do metrics where you're at. But you had an awesome memory, Jeanette, until your son was murdered on your birthday. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I can understand having PTSD. Definitely. That is tragic. That is tragic. And I can have empathy for you because my brother died at a very young age due to a drunk driving accident. The unfortunate part was that he was the drunk driver, but regardless, the tragedy is that he had a passenger with him who was also killed. And she was the mother of a 6-year-old. So there, I can certainly empathize with you. Thank you for sharing that. It's like when something like that happens, you're just always kind of distracted. Focus is more difficult. When I worked at the VA in North Chicago, I dealt with, for a year, I was assigned to the geriatric psychiatric ward of inpatient veterans, and a lot of them had PTSD. So that's hard to get through. And that's not that long ago. That's 5 years. That is not that long ago. All right. So the next thing is I cut a piece of this designer series paper, 6 inches by 2 1/4-ish, 2 1/2. And I just got the envelope already because I don't like sending out naked envelopes. If you've stamped with me before, you know I don't like naked envelopes. So I've done that ahead of time so that we don't have to worry about that little piece later. We'll put this over here, I guess. And then we've got our card base. So our 8 1/2 by 11, I scored it at 5 1/2, cut it at 4 1/4 because we're going to do landscape. But I don't like my, it is frustrating, Jeanette, because it's not anything that you can really control. You know, your mind is going to do what your mind wants to do until it's through it. All right, so I do not like doing my cards tinted like this because if somebody wants to display these over time, they usually open up. So I prefer to have mine like this. So when I do a landscape card, I do it 11 and score it at 5 1/2 and then do my 4 1/4 here. All right. So I've got some glue on here. I'm just going to go get an alcohol wipe because I don't want any of the cards to get blemished from my little glue goobers. Give yourself some grace, Jeanette. All right. And then make sure that you have things that you can do that can make you happy. Because based on that experience, you know life is too short. All right. Cleaned off with my little alcohol wipe here. All right, sorry for that little interruption. All right, so we've got our card base. I'm going to set this aside after I dry this a little bit. And then we're gonna take this piece and like here, we're gonna do some ink blending, okay? And I think I'm going to, I mean, I pulled out 3 of the greens that I thought would work. And I ended up not really using the old olive when I was just kind of playing around on some scrap. And I'll show you that scrap in a minute. Making cards is good therapy. All right, I have a wrought iron sign in my studio that says this is my happy place. So I'm glad that I get to spend time every day in my crafting space. And I have all of you to join me. So that's awesome. So I'm going to pull this old olive out because I don't think we're going to use it. Okay, and I'm just going to set that over to the side. So I'm going to do our ink blending in the Granny Apple Green just because I want a brighter color as the backdrop. I don't want to have a dim color. So we need the right brush. And I brought all kinds of alcohol blends and stuff. So I'm going to... Actually, I'm going to use a piece of scrap because I don't want to have to wipe this off again. So we're going to just do some ink blending. Now, because we're going to have this in the middle, normally I would say tap off with your blending brush before you start inking. But here I'm just going to start in the center. And if I have a little, I don't know, a blotch of color, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be spreading it out. All right. And you can see I use my index finger on the head of the brush. Some people go like this and some people use their thumb. So you just do what works for you. But having my finger on there is what usually seems to work for me. All right. So let's just put some of this on here. And I'm not worried about this, remember, because that's going to be covered up. But I just want this kind of randomly around here. And I think that's probably going to be pretty good. We could probably dip a little lower and higher in a couple of the corners. See, we all have so many things in common. Thanks for sharing that, Susan. Yeah, my brother was 3 years older than me. And so he died as a 23-year-old. I was 20. And that did something to me. My brother and I were not really close. We fought like cats and dogs growing up. But it did something to me. And until I turned 23, it was like I had this cloud over me because I just thought I was going to die when I turned 23. It was just crazy. But it's something that I couldn't get past. So that's how the brain works. Who knows? So I get it. It's hard. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to leave this here right now because you can see we have some little flowers on here. We have some little dots, and we've got our sentiment on here. And I'm going to wait on those just like I did last night until we put the flowers and such on there. Okay. And then as far as a sentiment, did I pull a sentiment out? I may not have. Well, my brother didn't have any children, so 38 is still pretty darn young, and there's 3 children. That's 3 children that don't have their dad anymore. That's very tragic. All right, what am I doing here? We're going to do this. We're going to come here, and I actually am using this hibiscus stamp from Beach Time because that's the only open flower I seem to have in my handy stash, and I didn't want to go to stuff that's super old. You're liking the green? Just wait. Just wait. It's going to be awesome. And then I'll show you the card that gave me the inspiration, and it was actually from the virtual card retreat. So we're going to stamp these. Now, I could use Secret Sea, or I could use Memento Black. I don't know that it really matters. But I have the Memento Black here. So I think we're just going to do Memento Black. Why not, right? So we're just going to, because we're going to fussy cuss these. I'm just going to spread them out a little bit. And you can see that I usually tap my ink onto the stamp. For one, I can see that it's got coverage. For two, I'm less likely to squish so much that I get too much ink. And three is where I'm going to stop. We may need more later, who knows. All right, and now we're going to start doing some more blending. Now, you're going to say, what? You're using green on your flowers? Yes, I am. I'm using green on the flowers. So sorry this is not as much of a collaborative card as we do sometimes, but somebody asked for green, so we're doing green. So I wish I had a small headed brush for my greens. Now I have blending brushes for pretty much every color of my inks. And the smaller brush is better for what we're doing here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use the very tip of this and I'm gonna put just some ink on it and I'm just gonna blend a little in the middle. All right, just wanna give it this little pop of color, right? So his youngest was 15. Oh, well, I'm glad that she's opening up to somebody and that it's you because you are intimately familiar with what she's going through. And with the kids, you know, it's hard. And, you know, when we've had things like that in the family, it's always a good idea if you tell the school what's going on, because they can kind of help too and know that this person needs a little more support than maybe some others. All right. So I think that's all the blending I'm going to do. And who's wondering, what in the world are you doing with green flowers? But it's going to look super cool. So then I'm going to take this Calypso Coral and I'm just going to color some of these centers. And I'm just going to kind of ignore, I don't know if that's the stamen or the pistil or whatever that is on a hibiscus. I don't know. And I'm just kind of doing little circles in here so that they just kind of look like a puffy center, right? And that's all I'm going to do there. And then I'm going to take, what am I going to take? I'm going to take, I think we're going to do Old Olive. Let's just see. And I'm using the bullet tip. And we're, oh, that's pretty dark. Let's try light Old Olive. I don't want it to look like crazy. That'll work. So all I'm going to do here is make some dots around here. And hopefully, these have just a highlight of green on them. Hopefully that's enough. And hopefully you can see how I'm working here. I'm left-handed, so sometimes that's not real optimal, I suppose. Oh, so doing school at home, she didn't even have the support system of friends or anybody to help her out. I'm sorry, that just sucks. All right, and then I think that's all we really need to do. That's all we need to do on these. So I'm gonna fussy cut these. What? Almost went haywire. And I apologize, I didn't have any of these done ahead of time, but it is what it is. I know everybody loves watching me fussy cut. Is anybody on here that had ice storms where you're at? I know a lot of our southern states in the U.S. have had horrible ice, and the southern states do not have the hardy equipment like we do up here in Wisconsin, where we're just used to that sort of thing. I know Juju, who's normally here, had a tree fall in her driveway, so she couldn't even get out of her driveway. A lot of people were without power. And those of you in Australia, I know you were like extreme heat. All right. One down. They look pretty cool though when they're fussy cut. So the mom and the siblings weren't any help. That's hard. It's just a really bad time. Were mom and dad together, or were they separated or divorced? Because if they're separated or divorced, I imagine that made it even worse. Jeanette, you're still blocked in your apartment. Oh. We didn't get any precipitation. We have just been severely, bitterly cold. So my husband's still wearing shorts around the house. And I go outside with a flannel shirt and a vest. So divorced, yeah. And was she the only child from the marriage? Were the other siblings younger from another dad? Not that it's any of my business, but it would contribute to her feelings of isolation, no doubt. Because if the younger ones don't share the same circumstances, they can't really identify either. All right. Phew. My chickens are not living inside the house. They are living inside their chicken coop. And they are spoiled. They have a pretty nice chicken coop. I do the deep litter method, so they've got lots of litter on the bottom. And it's pretty roomy, but I have a heater in there. So it's a heater that's like designed for a garage. So their coop is actually, some of these nights it's gotten down like to around 20, but the birds are designed for cold weather too. But they're so stupid. They'll go outside during the day and they're playing in their caged in playground. And they like the sunshine. It's like, go inside. You're going to get, your combs are going to get frostbite. They don't listen though. All right. So let's start playing a little bit more here. So this is going to go here. These are going to go here with some dimensionals. And I think if we kind of put those all in there, like to the center, we could actually put a sentiment over there and we wouldn't even see the center to the hibiscus. What do you think of that? Maybe that would work. Yuta, were you the one that wanted green? I got green going on for you. All right. But we're going to accent it with some Calypso Coral. So that's what I'm going to do now. All right, so Suzanne, you're in Central Arkansas. You don't have to apologize. No, Jeanette's in Central Arkansas. The comments on my iPad kind of blended together there, sorry. So, welcome back, Suzanne. We missed you. We didn't know you were gone, but we missed you. All right, and then I have this little flower here, and this is from this Forever Florals. Let me get the dies too. And this is, I know, sometimes I have a hard time keeping up, and then you guys can just laugh at me. I'm all right with that. This is from the virtual card retreat, and this is a preview item. So it's either going to be in the annual catalog or maybe a future online exclusive. I'm not sure. All right. It'll be a surprise for me too right now until I can see pre-order stuff. But this is really pretty. In fact, maybe it's on pre-order now. I don't know. We just started a new pre-order and I haven't really looked at everything. So is that BB or you don't mind green? The daffodils are sending out leaves. No way. Oh, so Jeanette, you and Suzanne are pretty close. Cool. There used to be a player on the Green Bay Packers. His name was Don Beebe, and I think that might be how he spelled it. I really like Don Beebe. All right, so I'm just going to put a few of these. We're going to make just a couple of little cluster sections there. You can see I missed a petal, and with these photopolymer stamps, it's easier to line things up. Let's do a couple down here. You guys are great. Get together. I love it. All right, so I think that's all we need to do there, although I should do a piece for the center, and I should probably do some ink blending on there while we're at it. And we're just going to maybe try to use what's left on our brush to make that center inside piece kind of blend in. That'll work. Was it a good video? My husband does that to me all the time. Oh, come here, you gotta see this. And I go out and see it, and it's like a golf shot or something that I'm just totally not interested in. But I stand there. It's like, okay, is that what you wanted me to see? Okay, cool. And I walk back into my crafting space. That's great that you guys are connecting. All right, so I am now going to add some, I don't know if we can do, let's do this. Let's pull in our scrap again. We're going to use the light one again. We're going to put like some fake speckles on here. You know, where you've got the stamps that have, you know, this one has stars, but you've got the stamps that just have guy humor. Gotta love it. You know, the stamps that just have some speckle on them. And you always try to get it kind of random. Well, we're just going to make our own. Because we can. And that way I don't have to worry about, oh, does it fit? Is it random enough? Is it whatever? And I can put it wherever I want. And we could probably even put some of that on the front of our envelope. Just got all these ideas. So let's blend a little bit of this on the front of our envelope because I already did this. What stamps that are you using? The hibiscus flowers are from Beach Time. This is new. Obviously, it's in the new packaging, so I know it's new. But I don't know if it's from online exclusives or a catalog. I'm sorry. All right, let's put a little green around this corner. Just a little subtle hint of green. That'll be good. And then this little flower came from the Forever Florals. That's this little flower here. And this was from the virtual card retreat. It's a preview item. So you can't get it yet, but it's something that's coming in the future. All right. So let's do a couple of those little flowers in here. Whoops. I don't want to break my tip here. I should probably put that down. Isn't it funny when somebody starts laughing like that and you laugh more at them than at whatever it is they're laughing at? Whoops, I put a little smudge there. I guess I'll put another flower there. I'll fix that. That'll work. Maybe one off the edge. There. All right, I think that does. My husband does the same thing. Are we all married to the same man? We call my husband Mac Man because sometimes he watches my videos. He's fast asleep, but he will probably watch a replay because he's very good about supporting me that way. So, Mac Man, if you're watching, it's funny when you laugh at stuff that I don't find funny. But he does. He'll like belly laugh, and it's like, oh my goodness. And then you can't help but laugh because it's kind of hilarious. All right, so I think that's good. And then we need some of those on here. So who needs a splatter stamp, right? We can make our own. That's good, Suzanne. I got my own. I don't need to claim anybody else's. So isn't that fun so far? I think that's fun. And then I'm going to use, let's see, I thought I pulled in lemon lime twist marker or blend. Did I? I don't see it here. Oh, this is lemon lime twist. So I wanted to see if this was bright. I want something bright for the center of these flowers. So I think the Daffodil Delight does not show up as bright as I wanted it to. Let me get Lemon Lolly. I thought I pulled that over too. This is Dark Lemon Lolly. All right, Daffodil Delight or Lemon Lolly? I think we'll just try the Lemon Lolly. Yep, Dark Lemon Lolly. Oh well, it is what it is. So we're just going to put some little snippets of color in here, and it probably isn't really bright on there because I've got that green brushed underneath it, but that's all right. A couple of these we may end up putting embellishments on anyway, but at least these have a little different color to them, and they kind of look yellowish from my vantage point. Okay. Now the other thing that kind of set, when I was playing around this, it kind of set it off for me. Oh, Jeanette, you're going through a divorce. I almost missed that. I'm sorry to hear that too. So crafting is good therapy. So I am using the journaling pen. It's got a nice fine tip, and I'm just outlining these because I do not have an outline stamp for these. I just have the filler stamp. And there's dies for these, but I didn't want to die cut them to try to ink up the edges and then have to glue them all on. That's just kind of ridiculous. But that gives it kind of a whimsical look, and it highlights those flowers, right? How long have you been married, Jeanette? So this journaling pen was actually added to the product line for some of the scrapbooking things. But I looked at it there and I'm like, oh my goodness, that would be good. Because we don't have the basic black marker anymore that I used to use, but that had a broader tip too. Come on, I just want to fill in this little, there we go. There was just a little gap there. And none of this is glued down yet, so that's why I'm trying to not shift it too much. And I'm going to start over here since I'm left-handed. That way maybe you can see a little bit better. And these can look kind of abstract, so if my outline is not exactly the same, I don't really care. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that happens fast. And sometimes it takes a while. And if you've been through a divorce before, at least for me, because I have been divorced, my tolerance level is way lower in future relationships. All right, so here's our envelope. The back doesn't necessarily go with the front, but it goes with the whole card because we've got that piece in here. And then this is going to come on here. And I think I can get rid of this now. So the other thing we could do, now we didn't do it on this one, but we could kind of edge this just by dipping it in the ink, and it would set it off a little bit more. Should we leave it just white on white, or should I try to edge that layer? You tell me. In the meantime, I'm going to put this on dimensionals. Allie, when did you pop in? Welcome. Sorry you're stuck still. All right, so a couple of these, okay, good. Because sometimes I make the mistake and then I dip it too far and then it's got way too much color and then I feel like I have to do it over. So that saves me a lot of hassle. I've kind of avoided directly in the middle because once we put these flowers on, if I put a sentiment in the middle, I might want to put a dimensional on that. We did yesterday on the flowers that went in the middle, so we'll see. All right, so this is going to go here. Let's do this so I can see if it's kind of centered. And this is for the inside. I want to make sure I'm doing the right layers, and I don't want to put anything on the envelope by mistake. That would be a problem. I think that's good. Now I can see that there's a little bit of dimensional sneaking in here, so I'm just gonna force that in. It'll be fine. And then let's go ahead and put this piece inside. Yeah, if I had to sit and watch the TV all day because I had nothing else to do, I tell you, I would go crazy. That would make me nuts. I seldom, unless I'm working on something, you know, paperwork sort of thing, I seldom sit down. So, you know, all day I'm usually up and about doing stuff. I craft standing up, and if I sit down, that's usually when I start to knot off and go to sleep. All right, so there's the inside, which I think is pretty cute. And then this is going to go here. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals just in the four corners. So I'm just catching up on this, Jeanette. I felt it comfortable. So yeah, put it all out there, know what the expectations are, and you know what you need. All right, so these flowers, where's my third one? Okay, Oh, there it is. So again, these are, I think, hibiscus. If we put them in the middle, here's the card we're working on. We need a couple of these little leaves. Oh, 65 isn't too bad. So I'm going to use the light ones today. And I think we'll go like here. And maybe this one. And just put one over here. Because that'll give us 3. That'll be good. Yeah, you get shut in and then you cook. Then you have to eat it, of course. And sit around and don't get the normal exercise maybe that you should. All right, so now we have to think of a little sentiment. And I was thinking if we put it across there, we could cover up that hibiscus, but maybe that won't even matter. Maybe I should just let the hibiscus be. What do you think? Should I let the hibiscus be or should I try to cover that up? Is that the stamen or the pistil? I don't remember what that centerpiece is called on flowers. I actually think that might look better if I do just a little. I wonder if I have a little thank you or something. I know I have one. I don't have the patience for embroidery. It's pretty tedious and I don't feel like I do a good enough job. So kudos to you for that. All right, I need a sentiment. That's what I need to do. All right, let me pull in, what was I using earlier today that had just a little thank you on it? Here. How about that? I could Google it at some point, but I probably won't. Because it's easier to ask you folks. I think that could work. Let's get another little block. No, it's the pistil. Did you look it up? And then I think we'll do maybe Calypso Coral. Let's see how that looks for the sentiment. And I'm just going to get a little strip here. Maybe we'll do it in Calypso Coral and do it in Granny Apple Green. Yeah, I always said that too. I mean, you do get stronger and you know what your limits are. And for me, it was the fact that I was happier because I didn't have the expectation that somebody would do something that I expected. And then I didn't have the disappointment when they didn't meet my expectations. And then MacMan came along and I never thought I would get married again, quite honestly. And we just kind of clicked. I think we're going to use Granny Apple Green. But I still have high expectations, but I've tried to, the things that bother me, I just try to not engage in them. Because I don't need the stress. You come a long way, baby. So for those old enough to remember Virginia Slims, I think that was the tagline for that, right? You've come a long way, baby. So do we think green? I kind of think we need that pop of color, but I also think this one I might need to rim with some color. I don't want to put it on another layer, but I think it needs some color. As a kid, I used to have to go to the store and buy my mom her cigarettes. Lori, go up to the store and get me cigarettes. So she had to write me a note so that they would sell them to a grade school kid because I was young. And she always got Virginia Slim menthols. And I've never been a smoker. All right. That just edges it a little bit. Do you think that works? Or two pots of chili, or 2 pots of, what did you make 2 pots of? And then you've got the chili. I love chili. I don't cook a whole lot because I'm usually too busy crafting. All right. Let this dry just a little bit before I set it on there. Oh, 2 pots of soup and a pot of chili. I don't know why I have never been very successful at making soup, although I do make a lasagna soup that's pretty good. All right, so here's the Calypso Coral, and then here is the green. I'm thinking the Calypso Coral is what we need. What do you think? Would you all agree? My comments are kind of delayed, so if you're talking and I haven't responded yet, it's just because I haven't seen you. The coral, awesome. All right. So these I need to get up a little bit on dimensionals. It might be too thick to go without extra postage because I think with these 3 flowers, I may end up with more dimensionals. They might be doubled in some places. So what did I do with my dimensionals? Found them. All right. So one of these I could just glue right on here. The one in the center is going to be there. So let's just glue this one down. I did that with some stew. I made stew one day last week and then I froze the rest of it and didn't know what I was going to make one night for dinner. So it's like, oh, I got stew in the freezer. I guess we're having stew again. So I thought, don't we have stew again? Oh, I forgot to put this under there. Not to worry. We can still fit it, so I should probably glue this one down. So I thought these flowers with the green in the middle were actually kind of fun. And that'll kind of go in the middle. We'll glue on this other side. You've never heard of lasagna soup? I don't know where I found the recipe. It has zucchini in it. You chunk up the zucchini. So, and I think there's some pasta in it too. But it's like a tomato base. It's basically like lasagna flavored, but it doesn't have, it's not layered in a pan and baked. It's just soup. And then we'll put more dimensionals on here. So I think if I put that dimensional, if it lands on here, I think it'll hold it up a little bit. And then I'm going to put one over here. This might just be a card that I need to hand deliver because it's going to be thick. Or put a couple of stamps on it. So I think what I'm going to do is double dimensional that one because it's going to push down because there is not one directly under it. And I want it to stick up. I like it. I like it sticking up like that. So we'll just pop a second one in there. All right, and then we'll put this on. And I'm just going to put that right over there where it's going to cover up part of that stamen or pistil or whatever it is. And then we'll put a dimensional just on this end. I'm going to get a mini one for that though. I put cheese on it when it comes out. I'll put shredded cheese on it. If you're asking about the lasagna soup. I'll try to find my recipe and I'll share it with whoever wants it. So if you want the lasagna soup recipe, leave a comment, lasagna. All right, so we're just going to try to camouflage those little stamen or pistils. And then I thought I had the embellishments out. I love potato soup. Potato soup might be one of my absolute favorites. All right, so I need to put that away. Get these out of the way. I need to find the embellishments because here's the card that we're kind of working off of that we did last night, but now we did it in green. Isn't that fun? And even though the flowers are green, they look like fun flowers, don't you think? Alrighty, let's see. Wink of Stella. We need Wink of Stella. All right, I'm going to write myself a note. Lasagna soup. So I don't forget. And then I will get that out to folks. Oh, that's not my regular Wink of Stella. This one was nice because the flowers were already pre-printed on there and I just took the blending brush and I added some pretty and pink around the edges. This one we did with the green just on the outline stamp. And I think they're both pretty in their own way. I did not make an envelope for this one yet. And I was considering doing 3 flowers, but it was too much with 3. So let's just give these flowers some shimmer. And then we did a little shimmer around the pink ones yesterday. Oops, I gotta watch that memento. Some of it smeared a little bit. Don't want that happening. Okay. And did I? Yes, I did. On the inside, we flicked some Wink of Stella, so it's a little like fairy path in there. Very fun. And then let me find the embellishments we used. They were those flat dots. Now with this card, we used white. These old olive ones might be pretty on this. Excuse me. If you think we need dots. Maybe we don't even need the dots. Maybe the flowers are enough with the Wink of Stella. Dots or no dots? That is the question. And I'm waiting for the delayed comments. Dots or no dots? Anybody? This one was easy because I just put them in the center of the flowers. No dots. No dots. I agree, so thank you. I think those flowers in the Winkostella are enough. And we did more flowers on this one than the pink one too. So, oh good. It seems like we're all in consensus. All right, so these are tonight, last night, and I'm going to show you, this is the card that I got the inspiration for the green. All right. So this was paper that was exclusive to the virtual card retreat. So I thought this was the best way that I could kind of recreate that with what I had. So I kind of made like my own DSP, but then we fussy cut them anyway. But I just thought that was just a fun idea. I had never really thought to do flowers in green. But I thought this card was really cute, and I liked the Calypso Coral in there too, so that's why I did Calypso Coral. So that's casing a card, actually 2 cards, because this was inspired by another card too, which I don't know where that one is. So that's all I have tonight, everybody. I'm so glad you all came to hang out with me and craft with me, and I'm glad that we can have those hard conversations and support each other. So thank you all for that. That's what this community is for, because we do not want loneliness. We want to, you know, as Sarah Douglas puts it with Stampin' Up, we want to eradicate loneliness. And if this is how that we can help with crafting in that, I'm all in. Okay. Last words, anybody? If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Feel free to share the video. Invite your friends to subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't already. Enjoy your day, your evening, wherever you're at. And until next time, happy crafting.